But he needs friends, you know. It's a very difficult time for him. Tough decisions will be made in future about his own job. He hasn't been doing a good job lately. So he knows that, you know, he needs people in his corner so that they don't fire him, I'm afraid.
But did the trick work, though?
I don't know. You see, that's the problem, because this is just one event. There's been an accumulation of serious mistakes that have really led to questioning his leadership, his own integrity. And when we've had that series of mishaps, you cannot easily turn them around by just one act. You know, and also because there's a vast difference between what you say and what you do. He says competent appointments in parastatals, for instance, and yet we know that he's made very terrible appointments. He talks about BE, that black people should be given preference, and yet we hear constant mentioning of the Guptas, a family of foreign origin, coming to South Africa and getting almost, well, not all, but some major tenders over local business people. So for him, I'm afraid there's a profound lack of credibility. The message is all fine. He said all the right things, but the messenger is not quite trustworthy. So it's too early to say that, you know, he made it.
Now, from the DA made it clear that they're going ahead with the, you know, vote of no confidence and so on, but we all know that that's not going to work. It's not going to yield anything. But beyond this point, what do you think will be the attitude of the opposition towards him?
The opposition want him out. They certainly want him out. They're going to talk impeachment all the time, and that's unfortunate for him. And there was something interesting that was said by Minister Pando about that resignation, referring to Maimane, saying, even if Zuma were to resign, he would not be president. She is admitting to the possibility of resignation. She's not saying he will not resign. So I thought that was interesting. And they want to push that line.
But was that not to just spite a Maimane? You know?
Another spite could have been, well, you will not get your wish, straight up, right? But in this case, there's some admission of the possibility of that happening. And the opposition is smelling blood. They're going to go for it because it paints the ANC into a corner. This is an election year. So the ANC is not about to get out of it. They will have to come up with a new narrative. They've done extremely well, housing, electricity, this and that, but people are looking for more details. And unfortunately for the ANC, they've been doing blunders now, which overshadow their good work. And now the entire narrative is centered around President Zuma for making decisions that are entirely inexplicable.
Oh, look, the opposition parties are going to try their luck. Experience, reality says the chances of them winning are next to, well, are zero. The question then becomes, what does the president do now? Perhaps to win back some minds, or hearts and minds. What does he do now to restore the confidence that you're saying many people have lost? You know? And perhaps more importantly, how does he make sure that the ANC does not suffer again or beyond what has happened already in a year that is an election year?
Do the right thing. Do what he's promising to do. Remove incompetent people that we know about and appoint competent individuals. You know, stop pursuing a nuclear program that most people think it's too expensive. In fact, the NDP is not so big on that nuclear program. It says you must go for solar, you must go for wind. And you know, to build confidence, you need to create certainty that everyone is behind the NDP. If you have a plan that says, no, don't go for solar, and on the other hand, you are going for nuclear, then you are creating certain uncertainty.
But I did ask the Minister of Finance, who probably, or not likelihood, will say something that sort of settles the matter somewhat, who said, look, we're going for, he didn't use the exact words, an incremental approach. Mm-hmm. nuclear is one among many options that we are pursuing as a nation. And we will only do what we will be able to afford. We will only do what is safe and what we realistically can do. In other words, it's not going to be a free-for-all where, some people have speculated that there's billions that Putin wants from South Africa. There's other money that people like, the Guptas may be gunning for and so on. He says, no. It's not anything of the sorts. As a nation, we're going to be responsible. We're going to live within our means, and we're going to do what is right. Do we have any reason to doubt him?
No, not Pravin. You don't have a reason to doubt him. Hopefully he stays in his job. The last time he spoke like that, he was fired. Hopefully this time around, he won't be fired. If you have Pravin sticking to the message, saying same thing over and over again, then you are likely to create certainty and a sense of direction, because Pravin has a lot of credibility. So as long as perhaps President Zuma steps back a little bit, give finance ministers, DTI Minister Davis, for instance, to announce major industrial projects. There's some stuff on the pipeline, so we need to focus attention to the positive things. People are getting jobs here and there, and we need to call on business to do something. There was this meeting before the president spoke. Meeting with CEOs, and there was a lot of hype around it, as if they are coming up with a massive rescue package. And yet his speech did not contain any dramatic announcements.
But if we leave his speech aside, though, don't you think the act, perhaps in itself, of saying, beyond this, we're going to establish a two-person team comprising of Pravin Gordhan, the Minister of Finance, and Jabu Mabuza, who is the head of Business Unity South Africa. And between the two of them, they are going to steer us in a recognizable direction that we believe will be to the benefit of the entire nation. And from what I'm told, within that are issues like, let's be frank with each other. Government has come to the party, and these are the things we've put on the table. If you think there's something missing, what is it? And tell us what it is, and we're going to tackle it. But on your side, you also have to say, we're sitting on trillions of rands. What are you putting on the table to do what and to what benefit? But which I think is a positive move, even though it hasn't yielded anything so far. They probably haven't even met, since that one meeting where the president was. But isn't that positive?
It's a good start. But you see, business is apparently sitting on more than 500 billion rand of savings. It's not being reinvested back into the economy. Why are they doing that? Will this meeting get them to do something? So we shouldn't be excited by little gestures. We should be looking for something substantive. My fear is that business might use this crisis to get certain concessions from government to keep the status quo and not yield on certain things. We need major investment in this country.
But whose fault is that? Can we put the blame solely on the government for that? Because, we know our history. We know the history of this continent. We've seen business moving into areas where there's death and devastation, right? But where they were able to make loads and loads of money, they did.
That's my point. We shouldn't celebrate business as this great savior today, because yesterday they were not there. And day before that, we've been calling them to come on board. We have a crisis. They haven't come on board. So now they come, and seemingly they seem to be making some minimal concessions, and yet we are meant to celebrate, right? So we can only celebrate if these committees come up with something concrete. That's really what we are looking for. If we're talking patriotism, if we're talking business coming to the party, then we mean real things, not self-righteous postures. That we are here to save the country when, in fact, in the hour of need, previously, they haven't been around.
Ndletyana, I'm afraid that's where we're going to leave it with all the glitches we had today. Professor SABC Ndletyana is, of course, with the Politics Department at the University of Johannesburg. Time now to take a quick break. When we return, we speak to the Premier of the Northern Cape following her State of the Province address.
for victory requires intense effort and teamwork. When you get to it, there is no turning back, because all eyes are on you. When it's action time, nothing should